My Asian heritage definitely shaped my communication style in the workplace. Both my parents immigrated to the US as small business owners, so I grew up in an environment where I was translating and operating the business on their behalf at a young age. So, in the workplace, it gives me a global mindset in terms of understanding different perspectives and sort of being the liaison between different groups. A big part of my role is to bring the team together, so it definitely is an advantage to be able to have that mindset in different
So
settings.
my upbringing in the Indian culture, there's a big emphasis put on community and family, and that in itself gave me, constant mentorship, encouragement throughout my life, and that opened up so many doors for me,
So I don't
opportunities.
think the Asian heritage was a big factor in terms of my professional journey and growth, but I do know that a lot of the habits and work ethics that I learned was from my mom growing up, and that's just because in the Korean culture, it's very expected to um, be hardworking and go towards success, even if you're going through a lot of adversities. And my mom was actually in the finance and banking world as well, and she still is. She's worked in risk and credit, and it's been something where she's always worked very hard in her life. And that to me is something that's definitely translated over, and is something that's um, present in a lot of my family members as well.
So in some Asian cultures, women are expected to be timid. We're expected to just take the back seat, keep her head down, stay quiet, and follow the path that was chosen for us. Being the youngest of 4 girls, I definitely caused a lot of chaos growing up because I was never the one to just stand down, and I was never the one to just let somebody else choose a path for me, especially when I knew I could do better and be better. Even at a young age, I always knew that I wanted to be a leader, not a follower. And I knew in order to be a leader, I just couldn't take the back seat. I had to take control and be in the driver's seat. That mentality has carried over well into adulthood and into my career, especially because I think the Western world has kind of adopted the same social construct where women can't be really opinionated or women can't be passionate about their jobs without being called emotional or over dramatic.
My favorite is probably Korean Thanksgiving called Chuseok, just because a lot of my immediate family is actually all in Korea. So we have celebrated a couple of times, and it's just a really nice and warming time for all of us to gather and to give thanks and to celebrate just being with each other and also eat a lot of food. But also what makes this different than, I guess, the American Thanksgiving is that we also do pay respect to the ancestors. So we set up a whole room, give food as an offering, set up some incense and everything like that. And it's always been really rewarding to be a part of that experience when I do get to visit Korea.
So growing up, like I said, our culture is all about family and community, and growing up, even now, we used every excuse to have a gathering, family gets together, friends, and not just Indian holidays, even Thanksgiving, even though none of us eat turkey, we would still use that as an excuse to get together. And so it just brings everybody together. Some people you haven't seen in a long time. It's my favorite, even now.
Yes, my favorite childhood tradition is cooking Korean food. And it's not just about the flavors, but about passing down my heritage to my nieces and nephews and teaching them how to cook as well. A typical Korean meal is full of banchan, which are side dishes that spread across a long communal table. So eating Korean food is about connection and community, and it preserves our family traditions as well. I think that the most important thing for me is being able to connect with my family roots, even though they're not in the United States, through passing down our recipes.
I was born in the United States, so another part of my identity that I value is I am an American, and I live the American life, education, everything, and I love the fact that I have a blend of both. Makes me me.
So celebrating womanhood is just as important to me as celebrating my heritage. especially given all the social injustice setback that women are currently experiencing. I have nieces. I kind of feel like a sense of duty to be a role model and to teach them that it's more important now than ever to be a girl's girl, to empower women, to stick together, because that's the only thing that we control. We can control how we support each other. We can control how we treat each other. Everything else is out of our hands. So for me, being a woman in corporate, it's an important part of my identity, because that's how you break the cycle of women being oppressed. So that's how you break
I call
glass ceilings.
myself the 0.5 generation immigrant in my family because I came to the US at a young age, but I was born in Korea. So being an immigrant in general is central to my identity. I feel like a big part of myself is keeping and preserving my Korean heritage by understanding Korean language, and I still know how to read, write, and speak in Korean fluently, even though I came to the US when I was 3 or 4. When I first started working at Lendistry, I felt like somewhat things came full circle because I often draw from experiences growing up in small businesses that my family ran. And I feel like it often resonates with a lot of the experiences of our
I would
customers.
say a really big part of my identity is cooking. It's just a really big hobby of mine, something I do to de-stress, and I've been doing it since I was young. Part of the reason was kind of how I mentioned before, my mom was really hardworking, and part of that was because she was actually a single mom, raising both me and my brother. So there wasn't really a lot of time for her because she was always at work. And that became kind of like a tradition for me and my brother as well, in terms of cooking together, figuring out new things to cook, because for a while it's just eggs, rice, and spam, and we got tired of that. And then in college I was also cooking a lot, and then it slowly became like, okay, we just need something to eat, to almost recreating a lot of Korean traditional dishes, some that I learned from my mom, some that I learned from my grandma, some that were just by taste. And then that even evolved into different ones like Mexican, Indian, Peruvian, whatever it may be. And it just became something exciting to me to do in my free time.